How you doing, everybody? Hey, so this is my first YouTube video I'm making. And what I'm going to be doing is I'm going to be installing a military 5-ton combat rim onto a 395 85R20 tire. So you see I got two tires here. This one here is a Goodyear MVT. This one here is the Michelin XML. So this one is going to be my spare tire because I already have 6 total MVTs mounted. So I'm going to go ahead and run you guys through the process on how I do it and how people would advise me to do it. And then right here, what I have is a new old stock military combat 5-ton rim. I got these from down in San Diego for about 120 bucks a piece. It comes with the O-ring, and it also came with all the nuts for the beadlock ring. So I'm going to do a start to finish process because I haven't been able to find any videos on a start to finish process. So I'm just uncrating right now and pull the rim out and take a look at it. Okay, so here's the same thing I ran into with the other ones I pulled out. If you look real close, you can see some rusting down in the ring area there, around the O-ring where it's going to ride. So all that's going to need to get cleaned up, and I'll probably most likely have some more down further where the rim's going to ride on the actual sidewall. So I'll go ahead and get all that cleaned up, and then get her spray painted. All right, so got them all cleaned up. I just went ahead and sanded down some of the areas I'd found here and there. See, there's some shiny spots there. There's some down along the lip like I told you I'd wind up finding. There's another one on the other side as well. And then this is the ring here. Make sure you take a look at the ring as well. So you can see a spot here I found, and then there's a couple other ones. And then also on the inside of the ring there, and then also in the lip under here, you might find some. So you want to make sure you get all that sanded off, cleaned off really well. Just use some soapy water and a rag. That's all I use to clean it off with. And then sandpaper, wire brush, blow nozzle to get all the crap out of there. And then take special attention to the O-ring groove in here. You really want to get as much rust out of there as possible. See, there's a little bit of rust I had in there, and I had to really get in there with the sandpaper. Looks like there might be a little bit of pitting, but I'll throw some good paint on there and we should be good to go. So I'm gonna go ahead and throw some paint on it and get it in the sun. It's a little cold today. Okay, so I don't know if you really tell how dirty the tire is, but there's quite a bit of dirt and grime in here and also on the other side. So all I'm using, simple green and hard bristle brush. You buy them at auto parts stores for tires and stuff. Pretty simple. So you're just gonna spray this really good, clean it up really good, take a cloth, wipe it down, make it all nice and pretty. All right, so I'm just gonna go over some of the stuff I'm using while we're waiting for the paint to dry. See over here, got the tire all cleaned up. So this is some of the stuff that I've been using. Actually, it's pretty much all of it. So, hard bristle brush, obviously simple green, soapy water. This is a spray paint I used. We'll see if it works well or not. I don't know. And then here is the tire paste we're going to use. So this stuff is made, or you can get it from Napa, and part number is right here on the side. Get a closer shot of that for you. This stuff is more like a taffy almost. It's really thick, works really well. You'll see when I go to mount the tire. Right here, I just picked up this Cobalt 1/2-inch impact wrench off of from Lowe's. 1,000 foot-pounds of torque. Works actually really good. I was kind of surprised. And it's a 1 1/8 socket for the beadlock ring nuts. And then here we have the large bore valve stem. Like I said, I got these. I got 7 of them for about 140 bucks. So you're going to need the adapter for these guys if you want to just fill it directly to this neck. Or I know they do make adapters for the regular Schrader valves as well. You can find those on eBay. And then here, this is just a Harbor Freight tire inflator, and then I put a longer hose on it. I believe that's a 10-foot hose with my large bore quick connect adapter there to fill the tires. Just went ahead and wrote down some part numbers here. See if I can get nice and close so you can see. So on the left here, we got the lug nuts. So the WA 2007 and 6, these are for the rear lug nuts for super singles. And then over here is the air chuck number, Milton 1496, for this air chuck I got here. So it's only about 25 bucks on eBay. You can get it pretty cheap. You can get the adapters as well if you don't want to use this kind of board, you want to use the other kind. It's really up to you. And then I just made a little note right here. Make sure you put anti-seize compound on the studs, because if you don't, you might have a hell of a time breaking them loose later on down the road. So that's about all the tools I'm actually really using. Actually, here's the actual valve stem number. I almost forgot about that. So you can see the NSN here. Get it nice and close. And you can look those up on eBay, or I do know a guy that sells them if you wanted to buy some. They're just chilling in the sun, it's drying. Probably wait another hour or so, and then I'll go ahead and do the install. So probably some of you guys are wondering why I'm changing out my wheels and tires. So you got my MVT sitting there waiting to be put on. So these tires I have here, they're 53-inch tires, but the problem with these guys are, I don't know where they came from the guy I previously bought it off of, but these tires are 24 inches wide. So check it out, 24-inch wide tire, contacting the hell out of the pivot arm. All right, and then it contacts the frame on the other side. So I do know that from reading a lot and doing research that you can actually put Hemet rims on the regular 16 R20 tires that are the same height as these but not the same width, and they won't rub. Now these, it doesn't matter what you do unless you have massive wheel spacers to keep them from rubbing. It's probably the only thing you can do. These tires are 24 R21, so these are 21-inch rims, not 20-inch rims. So I couldn't even reuse these rims. Now see, a lot of people ask about the 53-inch tires. Not a whole lot of space on these guys. So see, you got a space in between, maybe 4 inches further, probably have 3 to 4 inches in between there. And then on these big giant 24s, they actually wind up rubbing on the inside of the leaf pack down there. I don't know if you can see that, but they look cool. Yeah, they definitely look cool. It makes it look like a freaking gigantic monster with these tires on there. So that's the reason why I'm changing these tires out. Okay, so what I got here, I got the 510 rim flipped upside down. It's sitting on the studs right now. I just wanted to show you guys this because I've seen a bunch of different people use buckets and stuff like that. I did use the bucket on my first go around, and actually I wound up breaking the bucket when I tipped the tire over onto it. So what this is, it's just a 4 by 6 inch block of wood. It's cut about 21 inches, 21 and a half, or 20 and a half inches wide or long. And this thing fits almost perfectly right in the rim, all right? That's the way to do it, because when you get it underneath, or when you get the tire on, obviously you're gonna have the tire sticking out a little bit. So you want a little bit of a gap under there. This provides a good solid stable platform, and it literally will keep that tire about 3 inches above the ground, which is a perfect clearance. And when you do this, drop the tire lengthwise with the wood, or else you're gonna rock side to side. All right. All right, so what we're gonna do now, we're gonna go ahead and apply the tire paste to the rim, the beadlock ring, and to the tire. All right, so to give you a little applicator, what I found is doing it by hand is a lot easier. You get more on your hand. Like I said before, stuff's like a taffy. It's real thick, but it works really, really well. So I have a little close up of that stuff. It's like a yellowish tint. So just take a nice liberal amount, apply it to where the tire is going to ride on the rim. Apply a nice good amount on there along the sides. What this will do when you put the tire on, it'll help it just slide right on down. And also, you want to make sure you take this stuff, stick some down in the groove where the O-ring is going to ride. It's going to help it seal up real good for you. Same thing here. Put a nice liberal amount on there. Obviously, where the rim is going to ride. All right, tire's done. Now we get the ring. Now don't worry so much about the outer groove here. When you go to seat the O-ring down, it'll coat that good. If you want to use the applicator, you can. I just don't use it because it's quicker with your hand. All I'm doing here is take some soapy water and what I'm going to do is just spray it on this little rubber piece here on the valve stem that mounts to the rim, just so it slides in the hole a little easier, because it is pretty tight because it's brand new. I've already done 6 rims the same exact way, so I don't see any issues with it. All I'm using is a crescent wrench to tighten it down. Just make sure you hold on to the valve stem. You don't want it contacting the rim on either side. You will notice that, well, at least on these large bore ones, they do contact the inside portion of the rim. So all I do is just grab the valve stem, just kind of yank it over a little bit. It's pretty soft, so don't go too hard. And I got about a 1/4 inch gap there, a little more, so that should do it just fine. All right, now we're gonna go ahead and slide the rim on. So make sure you get the tire nice and close to the rim. The block wood's facing that direction, so the tire's gonna go that direction as well. You probably have to hold the inside of the rim, just kind of lift up and push forward a little bit. Can be a little tricky sometimes. So the video cut out as soon as I dropped it down on the rim, so nothing's changed, everything's still the same. All right, so you saw how simple that was, wasn't too hard. Now we're gonna get the O-ring and put some paste on the O-ring. To get a liberal amount on your hand there, and make sure you coat this O-ring really well. This is what's gonna seal in between the rim there when you put that beadlock ring on. You don't want no air getting past this O-ring. Just gonna put this guy down in there. Okay, now here comes the important part for when you air it up. I'm gonna get a little closer here so you see what I'm doing. Okay, what you can do, you're gonna take nice big thick gobs of this stuff and you're gonna pack it on top of the O-ring in this groove in between the tire and the rim. All right, pack it in there. This is gonna pay huge dividends when you go to air this bad boy up. That way you don't have to use ether or anything like that. See a lot of guys using ether. Really haven't ran anybody to explain this part yet. Kind of figured it out on my own the other day when I was putting some other ones together when they wouldn't air up. First 2 I got lucky. They just aired right up because I guess I put enough tire paste initially. But the other ones I had to do this to. Just pack that groove real good. I know what you're gonna say. You're gonna be like, well, doesn't that interfere with the beadlock ring seating down on the O-ring? You'd think it would, but it doesn't. What actually winds up happening is once you torque it all down, well, you run all the nuts down with the impact and get them really tight, and what it does, it creates a nice little squeeze out bead all the way around. That way when you air it up, this airs right up. And you can literally leave it in place on the block, air that bad boy up, no problems. Nice and easy. You don't have to fight with ether or anything like that. Now, if you're using like a non-military rim, I have no idea what would work. Ether might be your best option. Like I know some people put these on like half-ton pickups when they're building mud trucks and stuff like that. Put these big tires on them. This isn't for that application. It's just for military rim use applications. I guess you could try this. I don't know. It might work. Like I said, liberal amounts. We'll ensure you inflate it up the first time. All right. Well, done with that. Now we're going to go ahead and put the ring on. One other thing to note on the studs: take a lug nut or a nut and thread them down on each one. Make sure they all thread down, because if they don't, then you may either have to replace one of them if the threads are damaged, or you might have to chase it with the chaser nut. check that first before you put them together. All right, so compressor's all aired up. I got all the nuts put on, and then a nice good coating of anti-seize. So we'll go ahead and run all the nuts down, and then we'll go ahead and air up. All right, so the moment of truth. Got all the nuts run down. I know people are going to probably ask about torque. For some of the guys I know that have been working on these trucks for a long time, they said torque them down until they don't turn no more. Now, obviously, if you're using like a 1-inch impact that has like 1,500 foot-pounds, be careful, right? But I have a 1,000 foot-pound one, seem to do just fine. I've been working on stuff for a long time, so it's kind of one of those things you got to feel for. You know what I'm talking about. You've been working on stuff for years or decades. All right, so the bead was already packed all the way around. There is a little bit of squeeze out. I can't really get it on the camera. It's kind of hard to see, but here we go. I ran into a little issue. So my method of packing the bead real good first didn't work for me this time. I'm assuming it's probably because these are XML tires. The other ones are the MVT tires. So what I did how I learned it initially, was I just kind of pushed down the tire and packed it in manually by hand that way. So there's a good thick bead all the way around. So it should air up now. Let's give her a try and find out. You can see the squeeze out along the edge there. Because I packed so much in there because I wanted to make sure the bead was sealed now. So what else to do is scrape all that stuff out and throw it away. All right, so we're all done. Got her all cleaned up. A little bit of simple green, some paper towels and rag. Clean it all up real good. I know some of you guys are like, hey, where's the bead lock? I didn't install them on any of my tires. That's just my personal preference. It's really up to you on what you want to do. There's other videos out there explaining how to install those. I know I've seen cargo straps, ratcheting them down, and then using bottle jacks and stuff like that. I don't know how to do that. I'm not going to run mine. I'm not going to run them in my tires. So it's really up to you. Do some research on how to do that. But I just kind of showed the basics on how to install the rim on the tire easily without too much of a headache when sealing it all up, because I haven't found too many step-by-step videos. Also, some of you guys might be wondering why I'm running 395s versus maybe 16R20s, 14R20s. The 53s are just too big. 16R20s, just too tall for my NHC 250. I have an A1 model, so the thing is a major dog going up hills. I'd rather not go 25 miles an hour or 20 miles an hour up a big grade with my EGTs getting super high. So the same thing kind of with the 14R20s. I know a guy that has a truck with 14R20s. He has kind of a similar issue. Those are still 48, 49 inches tall. So these are 46 inches tall. So I figured from what everybody was telling me on the different forums, they were saying go with these. You kind of want to get a work play type thing with the truck. If you need some good information on, you know, the M39 trucks, the older Deuce and a halves, pretty much anything, LMTVs, anything out there, go on Steel Soldiers forum and just register to be a member and just pay the membership, because you can access the classified sections and everything, and you can get parts and stuff like that. And there's just so many guys who know so much information. There's a guy, Wes, on there. He knows a metric F-ton of information about all kinds of different trucks. He's the one that I bought my valve stems from. He's the one that told me about, you know, tire paste and how to put on the tires and all that kind of stuff. So get on there, check out those guys. They know what they're talking about. I'm a newbie. I've owned my truck since August, and I don't claim to know everything about these trucks. That's for damn sure. I am going to be doing the service brake diaphragms. I got an air leak, and I know one of them's blown out, so I'm just going to go ahead and replace them all. Maybe I'll do some videos on that later on. So yeah, if you have any questions, comments, concerns, bitches, moans, groans, gripes, complaints, please throw in the comments below. Thank you.